What's up, YouTube? It's Carolina Calvin coming back to you with another video, and welcome to my Super Bowl 52 game recap with the Philadelphia Eagles picking up the 41-33 win. Very little defense played in this game by both teams. The big Eagles defensive stop really pretty much decided the game. But I couldn't do this video last night, man. I was drunk. I'll just be honest with you, so I wouldn't have been able to do this video. But as I said on Twitter, I was going to do this earlier, pretty much that Monday morning. And let's talk about this game. A lot of offense, barely any defense. Let's start with the New England Patriots. Of course, I'm going to talk about the numbers and then just how everybody played. Tom Brady, 28-48, 505 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Guy was good. He was really good. His protection for the most part, mainly in that second half, really held up. I think in that first half, the Eagles were able to get pressure on him. Really slowed him down. They were able to get some hits on him. The loss of Brandon Cooks kind of affected them. Of course, they adjusted in that second half. Rob Gronkowski became a bigger part of the offense. Chris Hogan became a bigger part of the offense. Danny Amendola played well. So the guy played great. And his protection really didn't hold up at the end with the Brandon Graham strip sack, which gave the Eagles the ball. But for the most part, the guy was a beast. I mean, he was making all the throws down the field. Chris Hogan, all these guys I just mentioned, they played well. They didn't get as much from the running backs in terms of receiving, just because the way the Eagles played them. The Eagles used Malcolm Jenkins to defend the running backs, which almost eliminated them from the game. But it was the receivers that I mentioned and Rob Gronkowski who played well. So I have no problem. Brady was a beast in this game. New England rushing. James White, 7 carries, 45 yards and a touchdown. Deion Lewis, 9 carries, 39 yards. Rex Burkhead, 3 carries, 18. And no one really had a bunch of carries after that. So he had a total of 22 carries, 113 yards, and a touchdown. 5.1 average, and that's pretty good against the Eagles defense, who throughout the season, they've been the most stout run defense in football. And, Patriots got over 100 yards. I don't know how many 100-yard games the Eagles allowed throughout the season, but it's not many. So, balanced attack. And you see, they had 613 yards of offense and still lost the game. And I'm going to get into how they, despite getting that many yards, they still lost. Danny Amendola, 8 receptions, 152 yards. He was great. Chris Hogan, 6 receptions, 128 yards and a touchdown. He was also great. Rob Gronkowski, 9 receptions, 116 yards, 2 touchdowns. And one thing with him, Brady wasn't forcing him the ball. Once Brady started forcing him the it started making, it was a lot of single coverage on him with the smaller corner. Just throw the man the ball. He's going to make a play on it. So once Brady really started to target him, he started making the plays. He was targeted 15 times. And he's your best receiving weapon. Keep targeting him. Rex Burkhead, 1 reception, 46. Brandon Cooks, 1 reception for 23, and he also got hurt on that very same play with the Malcolm Jenkins hit. James White, 2 receptions for 21, and Philip Dorsett, 1 reception for 19. So he spread the ball around, got it to his guys. Even despite the Brandon Cooks injury, Chris Hogan really stepped up in that deep threat role. New England defense. I thought Patrick Chung played solid, but I would say their best defender on this night was Stephon Gilmore, because once they switched him on Alshon Jeffrey, he did a really good job. He didn't defend him early in the game, and Alshon Jeffrey was really able to make plays down the field, even got a touchdown. But once they switched to him, he's Stephon Gilmore really started to play well. But other than that, man, James Harrison I thought made some plays, but what do you expect from a guy who's 38? The problem with this New England team, they don't have a bunch of athletes, especially in that front seven. They don't have a bunch of athletes. They had trouble getting to getting to Nick Foles. Nick Foles had a lot of time, moving in the pocket. He was easily able to set up, some of these nice throws he was making down the field. And looking into next season, that's what New England's gonna have to fix. Is they're gonna have to bring in a dominant pass rusher to be able to get after the quarterback, because they just didn't have that guy. And like I said, when you got to rely on a 38-year-old player to get you pressure, it's bad. It kind of reminded me, I don't know if you've seen, well, if you're watching this video, you've seen the Patriots throughout the season. The first few games, let's say the first 4 games, the defense looked terrible. They gave up a lot of yards. They gave up a lot of points. They started playing better throughout the season as the season went on. In this game, they looked like that first 4 games of the season New England Patriots defense. They couldn't stop the run. Nick Foles had all day to throw. And the corners outside of Stephon Gilmore weren't good. And, your front 7 didn't play well. They didn't really make the stops that they needed to make. Because how I looked at it, the first team that stopped the other team from scoring, either it be a turnover or 3 and out in that fourth quarter, was gonna win the game. That's what I was thinking as I was watching the game. The first team that got a stop or a turnover was gonna win that game. And the Eagles got a timely turnover, and the Patriots defense just kept giving up points, man. If it was a field goal, it was touchdown. They just kept giving up points. So like I said, looking at the offseason, they're gonna have to get some athletes in that front 7 to be able to generate some pressure. Let's see. Looking at, of course, you had the one turnover which is the fumble, which was huge. It pretty much sealed the game for the Eagles. But moving on to the Eagles, Nick Foles, 28-43, 373 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Now that 1 pick is not his fault. The ball was placed exactly where it needed to be. Alshon Jeffrey tried to make a one-handed catch, tips the ball up, defender happens to be there, picks it off. That's one of those plays where you just can't blame the quarterback for that. Other than Nick Foles played great. I'll just say it like that. Nick Foles played great. And this was a guy coming into this game, I think people still had a lot of doubts for good reason. Even after how he played in that Minnesota game, this is the biggest stage of the an entire year for the NFL. And this guy played it like it was a regular season game. You saw he was making all the throws. He was moving around in the pocket very well. He's making throws on the run. This guy looked good. And with these last few playoff games, he's earned himself a lot of money. This is a guy who was talking about retirement. He was talking about retirement before the Eagles picked him up. He comes in, has 2 bad games at the end of the regular season, plays okay against Atlanta, plays great against Minnesota, and then comes to the Super Bowl against, people will say, the greatest quarterback of all time in Tom Brady, and a New England, and a Belichick coach team and defense, and throws 373 yards, looked very comfortable, was making all the throws. I mean, you got to give the guy credit. Burton also had a reception. I mean, he also had a pass, which was to Nick Foles. So Nick Foles had, if you're talking about a total of 4 touchdowns, he also had a receiving touchdown. And it was very similar to the play that the New England Patriots ran early in that game, where it was a reverse, and it was pitched to Danny Amendola. He makes a pass to Tom Brady, who's wide open. Tom Brady completely stone hands it. When he wouldn't have easily been able to get a good chunk of yardage. And it was very similar to that play. And he was just like, "Oh, let's run that," since they tried to run it on us, and it worked better for the Eagles. Going down to rushing, LeGarrette Blount, 14 carries, 90 yards and a touchdown, 6.4 average. Guy was good. He was really good. Jay Ajayi, 9 carries, 57 yards. He was good. These guys didn't run it that much, but they were very effective. They were very effective when they did run. Nelson Aguilar, one carry for 9. That was pretty much on the end around. And Clement, 3 carries for 8 yards. He had a total of 26 carries, 164 yards, and a touchdown. That is really good. This is New England defense that was doing a pretty good job in the playoffs against the run. You saw how they stiffened up against Jacksonville. But in this game, LeGarrette Blount, he was running really hard. And the blocking was great. I remember on his touchdown run, the blocking was great. Most of it came early on in the game, but they had a balanced offense, with the Nick Foles throws, and then the running game was effective. And it works when you got, athletic offensive linemen and running backs who can break tackles, which Jay Ajayi, LeGarrette Blount can do that. Looking at Philly's receiving, Clement, four receptions, 100 yards, and a touchdown. A lot of people he had a 55-yard touchdown. A lot of people still disputing that touchdown, but, they gave it to him. Nelson Aguilar, 9 receptions, 84 yards. Alshon Jeffrey, 3 receptions, 73, and a touchdown. Zach Ertz, 7 receptions, 67 yards, and a touchdown. Now, a lot of people disputed that, but if you look at it in slow-mo, he takes the 2 steps, then he leaps. He's a runner. And I think the rest made the right call on that one. Torrey Smith, 5 receptions, 49. And Nick Foles, 1 reception, 1 yard, and a touchdown. Now, I had to bring it up because he did have a touchdown from it. Defensively, the Eagles, everyone's going to talk about the Brandon Graham fumble, the strip sack fumble on Tom Brady, which, of course, was allowed the Eagles to burn more time and put points on the board, essentially putting New England, out of position to win. Even though New England still had a shot with a deep throw down the field, that gets caught. Of course, they scored a touchdown, but you got to give, and I know on that possession, I was like, the Eagles defense in this second half, they haven't, especially that pass rush, we know it's been good all year. They're going to get some pressure at some point. They have to. Because I feel as though if they didn't get pressure, I don't think the secondary guys could hold up, against Tom Brady, who was moving the ball up and down the field on them anyway. Like I said, there was really no defense played in this game by either team. But Brandon Graham, they were able to get pressure. Fletcher Cox, defensive line, they were able to get pressure early on in the game. It was just in that second half where it really slowed down. You could see fatigue started to settle in. And it helped out that their offense was able to put in these long drives and really give these guys a rest on the defensive end, which, of course, helped them out at the end because you could see that those guys were still out there playing hard. They were still out there making plays. This is because they were able to get those rests. It was very important to have aggressive offense who, Eagles offense, they played the way they started the game, they finished the game. And that's how you beat the New England Patriots. But I'll say the best defender for the Philadelphia Eagles, Malcolm Jenkins. He really eliminated one aspect of the Patriots offense, which was, that running back coming out the backfield, catching the ball, making a lot of plays. And Malcolm Jenkins really shut that down. He also had the big hit on Brandon Cooks, which knocked out a huge piece for the New England Patriots. So if I was to point out a defender for the Eagles who played well throughout, it'd have to be Malcolm Jenkins. Other guys made plays, in different spots early on. Like I said, the pass rush was good. They were able to get hits on Tom Brady, slowed down in the third quarter and most of that fourth quarter, of course, until the Brandon Graham sack that led to a fumble. But for the most part, I think throughout the game, it was Malcolm Jenkins who was the guy who, from looking at it, was their best defender throughout the entire game. Real quick, go to team stats. And look at this. The Eagles had 538 yards. The Patriots had 613. So you're talking about 1,151 yards. 1,151 yards That was the NFL record. I mean, this is what the NFL wants. They want all these yards. They want all these points. They got it. They got a Super Bowl like that. And this is, I believe, that was the highest scoring game for a losing team in the Super Bowl, with the Patriots getting 33. And of course, the total yardage, they destroyed that record. I don't remember what it was before. I think they brought it up. But third down efficiency, the Eagles 10 of 16, Patriots 5 of 10. You know, like I said, they were able to move the ball on each other like it was nothing. Penalties, Eagles had 6 for 35. Patriots only had 1 for 5, which is the Rob Gronkowski early in the game. He had a false start penalty. Both teams had 1 turnover. I would say the Patriots one is definitely bigger. Although the interception early in the game, they gave the New England Patriots the ball. That did lead to points. But this one is when the Patriots trying to come back, trying to move the ball down the field, and a turnover. Huge momentum killer. Time of possession, the Eagles 34 minutes 4 seconds, Patriots 25 minutes 56 seconds. And Patriots is usually a team who wins time of possession. Not in this game. This is a 9-minute difference, close to a 9-minute difference. So, like I said, the Eagles did their job. Doug Peterson came in with a great game plan. Great game plan. Stay aggressive. And more teams need to write that down. Stay aggressive. You have a chance to beat that New England team, because you go conservative. If you play not to lose instead of playing to win, or playing pretty much playing to the point where how you got that lead. Play that way throughout the game, no matter what the score is, and you can beat that New England team. You have to stay aggressive. Go in conservative mode. They're gonna come back and beat you. But let me know what you think down in the comment section. I probably talked too long, but this is the Super Bowl, so it won't be many NFL videos up until really till the off season comes up. So it is what it is. Also, let me know what your favorite Super Bowl commercial. Mine has to be the Peter Dinklage Doritos commercial, which kind of led to the Morgan Freeman Mountain Dew commercial. I like that commercial. But of course, I didn't see every one. But let me know what you think down in the comment section about this game. Did you like this game? The fact there was no defense, purely mostly offense. Of course, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Thanks for watching.